Hey guys, this is TFR back in with another video. Today we're going to be reviewing the April 7th episode of AEW Dynamite. So we have some big matches tonight, so let's get right into this. So first up we had Hangman Page versus Max Caster from the Acclaimed. So Anthony Bowens distracted Hangman quite a few times so that Max Caster could get an advantage. They both end up throwing him into the barricade at certain points. Caster put him in a crossface at one point. Hangman hit a suplex on the apron. Bowens distracted Hangman, and Caster hit a superplex as a result. That wasn't enough, though. He hit him with a chain for two, but that wasn't enough, so Hangman managed to win with the buckshot lariat. Pretty good match. I personally liked it, so it was like a 3 out of 5 for me. So after that, we had Death Triangle. They were just talking, and then Orange Cassidy and Best Friends came out, and they showed the clip from last year's Revolution, where Pac tapped out Orange Cassidy. And so it's basically just hinting at a feud between the two stables. And so it was pretty cool. It was not really anything much, but it was nice. So it was 3 out of 5 as well. So then the Inner Circle made their return. Jericho was basically the only person who ever spoke, but he basically said that he was better than MJF, and that even though MJF thinks he has all the time in the world, he doesn't, and that he's going to become basically trash. He called MJF a mark, which was really funny because apparently he would go to the back and look up what all the fans were saying about him after every match. He said that FTR were basically, he called them interchangeable. He said that Spears was nobody and that he didn't do anything, and that Wardlow was dumb, and that he would defeat the Pinnacle, and he said that they're gonna have a blood and guts match, which is their word for War Games, on the May 5th edition of Dynamite, which is really exciting. Like I am crazy hyped for that. They then left, but it was really cool. I liked it personally, so no, actually 5 out of 5. That promo was amazing. That was like one of the best promos of all time in my opinion. Then we had like a sort of King Kong versus Godzilla sponsored match. Uh, from it was Jurassic Express versus Bear Country. So I finally figured out what the names of the guys were. I'm pretty sure it's Boulder and Bronson. So Boulder hit a superplex. Jurassic Express broke it up. Bronson slammed Jungle into Lucha. Luchasaurus hit a kick and then a clothesline to get him out of the ring, one of them out of the ring before hitting a chokeslam and moonsault on the other guy to win. So it was a pretty good match. I personally really liked it. So 3.5, maybe even a 4 out of 5 just because it was really fun. So yeah. So after that, we had Sting speaking. So Jake Roberts, before he could even get a word in, just basically said, we all know you're not going to say anything because I'm going to interrupt you," which was pretty funny. It was like a fourth wall moment. And then Lance Archer got mad at Sting and AEW, and then Sting got, he basically said that Lance Archer is a main event guy in his eyes, and that Jake Roberts was hurting him. Basically, he was trying to imply that Jake Roberts was not helping him in any way, but then he stormed off, so that was interesting to say the least. It was alright. I mean, I think it could have been better. I hope that they, like, as weird as this may sound, because I actually like Sting, I think that they should take him off air for like 1 or 2 weeks at least to sort of have that sort of luster around his name. Because right now it's just like every week it's just Sting speaks, gets interrupted. Like that's all that has ever happened for the last like 3 months, I think, other than like a couple weeks. So I hope that they change that. But yeah, it was like around a 2.5 out of 5 now that I actually think about it. So after that, we had Darby Allin versus JD Drake for the TNT title. So it was sort of like a styles clash because JD Drake sort of reminds me of like a old territory villain, like a little bit like a Ric Flair to an extent. So Darby Allin hit a Tope Suicida, and then Ryan Nemeth was about to try to distract him, but Sting was right behind him, and it was really funny because he chased him like 90 feet away. right? And then Drake managed to clobber Darby. It looked so vicious because he threw him against the ropes and Jen just like clotheslined him. And then Darby had a sunset flip powerbomb from the top and a coffin drop to win. But the Hardy Empire and Dark Order brawled to end the segment. It was really good in my mind, in my opinion. I meant it was like probably a solid 4 out of 5. It was a nice match in my opinion. So then after that, we had the Pinnacle beating up Jericho. So they just dragged him to the ring and started beating him up because the Inner Circle were locked in their dressing room, but they managed to take Jericho out. So then Mike Tyson made the save because he was advertised to be here, and he punched out Shawn Spears and made the save for Jericho. And then the Inner Circle um, came out after being locked in to like sort of celebrate, I guess, a little bit. But yeah, it was a pretty solid segment. I liked it. It was a pretty good way to utilize Mike Tyson. So like 3 out of 5. So after that, we had the Bunny and Tay Conti one-on-one in action. So the Bunny suplexed Tay Conti outside and missile drop kicked her into the barricade. The Bunny hit a super kick to get a 2. And Conti got a 2 with a roundhouse kick. The Bunny hit her with a kendo stick, but Sheeta took that kendo stick from her. Uh, Tay Conti hit a superplex and a DDT for the win. So it was a pretty good match. It was pretty action packed. So I'd say like 3 out of 5. No, 3.5 out of 5. So then in the main event, we had Omega and the Good Brothers versus Mox and the Young Bucks, right? So Omega and Jackson had a shoving match. The Young Bucks and Mox hit a stereo tope suicidas. Um, Jackson hit a stomp on Gallows and he backstabbed Anderson. Anderson hit a spinebuster on Jackson then. Jackson then got some offense on Omega and a DDT before hesitating to hit Omega. So Omega slapped him before Jackson tackled him. Gallows was about to get involved, so Mox clotheslined him over the top rope. Jackson superkicked Anderson. Omega suplexed Jackson 2 times. Mox managed to save Jackson from getting hit with a V-trigger before Jackson pile-drived Omega for a 2 count. Jackson then moonsaulted Omega twice for 2 again, and then the Young Bucks set up a BTE trigger, but Mox was getting annoyed that they weren't actually willing to hit it, so he tagged himself and hit a paradigm shift on Omega, went for hit another, put him in the choke, and then he was going to set one last one up before they double super kicked him. Eddie Kingston was beat up on the outside. The Good Brothers went inside and hit a Magic Killer on Mox, and Omega managed to pin for the win. And then the Young Bucks super kicked Mox again, and they joined the Elite and did a group hug to end the show. That was pretty shocking. Well, not really shocking, but just like what? That's sort of crazy. So now the Super Elite has been formed, and it was a pretty good match. I liked it. 4.5 out of 5. So that was all for this week. It was a pretty good card, though. However, next week is going to be a really big card, as it's the first one unopposed. So we're going to see Darby Allin and Matt Hardy in the TNT Championship match, but it's Falls Count Anywhere, which with someone like Matt Hardy, who's super hardcore, that's going to be amazing. The Young Bucks are putting their AEW World Tag titles on the line against Death Triangle of Pac and Ray Phoenix. We're going to see Dax Harwood and Chris Jericho against each other, with Mike Tyson as a special guest enforcer, because that's the role he usually plays. Anthony Ogogo is going to make his debut next week, and Red Velvet versus Jade Cargill will have their match next week. So altogether, all of it seems pretty good. And if you like this content, make sure you like, subscribe, share, do everything you can. I appreciate all your support. Peace.